Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video we have got a little bit of a story time. Yesterday I went on the Coil and let me tell you, this story is not sweet. So I hope that you do enjoy. If you do, don't forget to like and subscribe down below, and don't forget to turn the notification bell so that you get notified every time that I upload. Without further ado, let's get on with it. Oh, the Coil, the dreaded Coil. So I went on the Marina Coil yesterday, so that was Tuesday the 23rd of February, and so I'm going to talk you through all of the steps. So I have made little notes on all of the different steps that I went through so that I could talk you through sort of every single step and tell you everything in depth. And also I said to myself yesterday morning when I was filming the first part of this video, I said to myself, you know, I will make sure that I'm as honest as I can be without scaring people, because I know that if I was going to find out some information about any contraception and the person was sat there telling me that it's the worst thing they've ever done and it was the most painful thing they've ever done and it made them like this and it made them like that, then I know that that's just going to put me off completely. So I said to myself yesterday that I will be honest, but I won't be scary. But honestly, this story is scary. I'm going to be as honest as I can, and I'm going to try not to be scary, but it's scary. So I went onto the Coil because I can no longer be on the contraception that I'm on. Currently, I am on the patch, so the Evra patch, and this contraception is honestly amazing. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's rubbish. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it doesn't work, because I mean, it does. It's the best contraception I've ever been on. I was on the pill for about 18 months maybe, and I was not on that for contraception reasons. I was on that because I was on Roaccutine, and being on Roaccutine you can't have any chance of being pregnant. I was on the pill for a little bit of time, and then when I turned 16 I went onto the Evra patch, and the Evra patch, honestly, perfect, brilliant, and if I had it my way I'd still be on the Evra patch now. But the Evra patch has a hormone in it called estrogen. Estrogen for a lot of people is completely safe and it's completely fine, but I suffer with migraines, so estrogen is not something I should be putting into my body. I'm not sure the scientific reason for it, I'm not too sure on like the background of it or anything like that, but I do know that estrogen is it's bad for people who have migraines. It's not the best thing for people to be going on if they do suffer with migraines. The Marina Coil sounded like a brilliant option for me. My migraines are always worse during my period, the day before and the first day of my period, so I thought the Coil would be the best option for me for that reason, because the Marina Coil can either shorten or completely stop your periods. So I thought, you know, if something's going to stop my periods, it might help with my migraines, because that is genuinely when it is the worst. So I did a lot of talking with my GP and with some different nurses and things like that, and at first I was just going to be going on the copper coil, but the copper coil has no hormones in it whatsoever, but it makes your periods a little bit longer, a little bit more painful, and a little bit heavier. So with all of this combined, I decided that Marina Coil would be the best option for me. So everything was really good. I was going on the Marina Coil yesterday, brilliant. I was a little bit nervous, but I tried to push it to the back of my mind. I didn't really speak to anybody about it because I didn't want it to be like a conversation that I needed to have with people. I just wanted to push it to the back of my mind, go and have it, come back, get on with my life, done. So I got up yesterday morning and I had some breakfast, I had a drink, I took some paracetamol because they told me to take paracetamol to sort of numb the area. So I had some paracetamol before I went. I made sure that I had porridge in the morning just because it's really filling, and I made sure to have quite a bit of syrup in my porridge just so that it's really sugary and it keeps my blood sugars high. I was going to drive myself to the appointment, but the nurse told me that just in case I do feel a little bit queasy after it, maybe it'd be best if I could get a lift. So my mum took me to the hospital where I got it fitted, and yeah, everything was fine. They also told me to take a pad with me just in case I was to bleed after the procedure, just because obviously something is in there. So they told me take a pad and pop it on just after you've had it fitted. Fine. So I get to my appointment, obviously with a mask on and things like that. I go in and the lady sat me down and she said, you know, have you got any worries or anything like that? I said, no, I'm okay, I'm fine. She offered me a drink, which was really lovely, and I just sat and waited. I got called into my appointment and the nurse, the doctor, I can't remember who it was I spoke to now, but she was really nice. She spoke about how it's going to happen. She showed me it. She made me feel really comfortable. She explained that how I would feel after it, how it may feel during, and yeah, everything she told me was pretty accurate. I got up onto the bed. I obviously got myself all ready, and the doctor, she came in with another nurse, and the nurse was standing next to me, and she was just trying to like calm me down because obviously I was a little bit nervous. I wasn't anything bad. She was just like talking to me and just trying to take my mind off everything really. They got all of the equipment ready, and she told me what she was going to be doing. So she said, right, Rebecca, the speculum is about to go in, and she really talked me through everything. So the next part is the part where they actually prepared me for fitting. They put the speculum in and she measured my cervix. This part was a little bit pinchy. It was uncomfortable. It wasn't unbearable. Like I think because I didn't know what to expect. I've never had this sort of feeling before. It was more shocking. It was more like, oh, but it wasn't horrendous. Like it hurt, but it wasn't the worst pain in the whole entire world. She measured my cervix and then she told me that the coil was about to go in. The coil went in and yeah, painful again, exactly the same sort of pain as the measurement of my cervix. She said that it does feel like period pains. I'm one of those fortunate people that doesn't get period pains. I've never really experienced period pains before. So I didn't know what to expect. I had no idea. So if you're thinking of going on the coil, prepare yourself for it's period pains. That's how it feels. Sometimes if I do have any sort of sensation during my period, it'll be in my back, on my around my hips and like the bottom of my back and the tops of my legs, and that was where I was hurting. But it wasn't like it was as bad as when I'm on my period. It was just a sensation. It was just a feeling. After the coil was fitted, they told me to just have a little relax, sit on the bed, and just whenever I'm ready to just stand up. And they were really, really, really relaxed about it. They didn't make a big scene of it or anything like that. I just got up in my own time. I put the pad on and I left. It was as simple as that. Done. They gave me some information and things like that, but they just told me, they gave me a card as well actually. They gave me a card saying that when I would have to go back in 5 years to get it refitted or taken out or whatever I needed. That was that really. It was okay. Like it was okay. Like when I got in the car with my mum, I was like, that really hurt, but I'm okay. And then on the way home, like the period pains, they did get a little bit worse on the way home, and they did make me feel a little bit sick, but it was nothing like that I couldn't deal with. Like I was fine. So on the way home, we stopped off at the shop. I got myself some Nurofen, and they worked. They sort of dulled the pain down a little bit, and obviously because I had the paracetamol before I went to the clinic, it didn't really hurt too much initially. So I got home. I didn't really feel like eating. I didn't really have much of an appetite whatsoever really. I just felt a little bit drowsy, like you do on your period. I just felt like bleh. So I decided to just go upstairs, have a little lie down, watch some Netflix or YouTube or whatever on my telly and have a little bit of a relaxing day really. I thought, you know, I've been through quite a little bit of trauma today, and I thought I'll film the rest of my video later on, it'll be fine. So I was just sort of chilling. I had a few hot water bottles. I had one on my belly and then one on my back, and one in between my legs. I found that was really sort of soothing, just to relax the muscles down there. So I just had it sort of in between my legs. I actually fell asleep. This is where the scary part happened. So I fell asleep for probably about 20 minutes. I didn't sleep very long at all. But I was woken up by the most horrendous pain I have ever experienced in my life. Honestly, I thought that my whole entire lower abdomen, legs, hips, everywhere, my back, all of my back was hurting, everywhere was hurting. I don't really remember much of what was going on at that time, and afterwards, last night, I was sort of just on Snapchat and I went onto like my pictures and I saved this video of me being like, everywhere hurts, my tummy hurts, my back hurts, my bum hurts, nowhere feels nice. And I remember, and I said in this video, I was like, the only place that feels nice are my arms and my boobs. It was just so funny. So anyway, I woke up from my nap in the most excruciating pain. I texted my mum, who was downstairs. I had absolutely no energy to shout to her. I texted my mum and I was like, this pain's really bad. So she just came up, she gave me some more paracetamol. She was like, just go back to sleep, you'll be fine. So I had some more paracetamol. It wasn't time for any more Nurofen at this point. I couldn't have any. You can only take it every like 4 hours. So I couldn't have any just yet. So I had my paracetamol and I just tried to sort of just chill and go back to sleep. My mum refilled my hot water bottles for me and I just tried to go back to sleep. And then the pain got so much worse. Honestly, worse. It was the worst thing I've ever experienced. My whole of my sort of left hand side of my lower abdomen, my back, it was so weird. It was like the side of me it was literally the worst thing ever. My whole of my left leg seized up. I started screaming in pain. I was screaming. I couldn't move. Like I was lying there and I was like, it was like I was paralysed. I was just lying there. I couldn't do anything at all. So I started crying. Obviously, it was excruciating. I started crying. And then the pain, it was like my body was like, yeah, you're in a lot of pain now. Like, let's scream. So I did. I screamed and screamed and screamed. It was like, ow, ow. Like, it was like, I wasn't screaming like screeching. I was just like shouting so loud that it's so painful. My mum bolts into the room. She's like, what is going on? What's going on? I was like, I can't cope with this pain. Like, this pain is so bad. We tried everything. She picked me up. I was standing. I couldn't stand. My leg would not hold me. My weight was on my right leg and I was like grabbing my mum. I was like leaning on my mum. My mum's a little bit smaller than me in height, so it was hard for her to hold me up. So she was like, come on, let's see if you can like walk. You know, your leg might have just seized up because you've not moved. So I'm walking from my bedroom to the bathroom, which is literally, you can take one stride from my bedroom to the bathroom and you're there. And it took me so long. I genuinely couldn't. She brought me back in, she sat me back down. It's such a blur. I get back into bed and I have another hot water bottle and I'm crying and she's like, I don't know what to do. Like, how can I help? And I'm like, I don't know. And then the rest is pretty much a daze. All I can just remember her on the phone to people, she was just ringing people, and I was like, but why? Like, who are you ringing? And she was like, I'm trying to find out what I can do. Like, I don't know what to do for you. So she rang the 111. They told her to ring my GP. The GP, like the receptionist in the GP surgery, could hear me screaming down the phone. She could hear me. So she was like, look, there's no reason for me to tell the GP to ring you, because the GP's going to say the exact same thing as me, take her straight to A&E. So my mum took me to A&E. I don't really remember going. I don't really remember how we got there. I know obviously she drove me, but it was all such a blur. And I got to A&E and I was absolutely sobbing. My mum couldn't come in with me. I had to go in by myself. I get in, I go to the desk, I tell them why I'm there, and I literally said, I had the coil fitted this morning. She went, you're in agony, aren't you? I said yes. She said, right, take a seat. The nurse will be with you very soon. So I'm sat in A&E and I'm waiting. Then I heard the receptionist on the phone to somebody being like, yeah, the wait's about 4.5 hours. What? I can't be in this pain for the next 4.5 hours. Anyway, it was about 20 minutes and the nurse called me in, and she was lovely. She took my blood pressure and she asked me, you know, what's going on, what's happening, what can we do? I told her, and she said to me, well, do you not understand the side effects of the coil? I said, no, I do, but this is not normal. I want it out now. So she was like, right, okay. So she was ringing all these different people asking if anybody knows how to take a coil out, because the sexual health clinic had closed. So somebody eventually knew how to take a coil out. So they take me, so she says, right, go and take another seat in the waiting room again, and I will call you in a few minutes once we've got this person like ready and we've got all of the equipment and things we need. So I wait probably about 2 minutes, if that, and they come back in and they're like, Rebecca, do you want to come through? So I went through and they took me like halfway across the hospital. I could barely walk. It was awful. And then the lady shouted me in. I think she was a nurse, and she was honestly the nicest lady ever. She explained to me, she said, look, these pains will last a little bit. She said 2 to 3 days, if that, and you'll be fine. And she said, are you sure you want it out? I said, yes, get it out of me now. So she took it out for me there and then. She got all of the equipment. She opened me up and she was like, she sort of like, she was, you know, doing what she does, and she sort of went, oh my word. I said, what? She went, I'm going to take it out now. So she pulls it out and it hurt a little bit. Like it was that same sort of sensation that I had when I got it put in. Nowhere near as bad. It was literally like for a split second and then it was out. It was fine. But she said to me that the coil, my body rejected the coil straight away. There was no way that my body would have accepted it. It rejected it as soon as it was in, basically. So she said that my body was trying to push it out. She said your body had gone into labour and your body was trying to get this out. So that's why I was in so much pain. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what? That's crazy. My body had gone into labour mode because my body didn't like the coil. So I had the coil removed. I was coming home with my mum and I felt completely normal. I felt fine. Like, it was like this thing was obviously out and my body was like, thank God for that. Like, I was back to normal. Like, it was like nothing had ever happened. I got home, had some pasta, got into bed. I was exhausted. I was really tired, but it wasn't as bad as, like, I was nowhere near the pain that I was in 2 hours before. Absolute madness. So I didn't even have the coil in for 12 hours. I had it in at 12 and it was out by 7 o'clock. It was the worst thing ever, honestly. So that is the story of how I went into labour without having a baby. So I hope that you did enjoy. I really hope that I haven't put anybody off. This was just my experience. Don't forget, every single person is different, but yeah. I hope that you did enjoy. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe down below. And don't forget to turn on the little notification bell so you know every time that I upload. And yeah, I'll see you very soon. Bye.